Hola. 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see if one of these devices is working. Let's see. Let's see. Look at that. So, I got 3 devices going. I have a laptop because it's hard to say what's in your cart when you can't show what's in your cart. So, I did go out and buy a cheapy laptop, and that's my admin. Then obviously I got the iPad showing Princess Tia. Hola. And then I got the project cam. The project cam. The project cam showing you guys the project that I'm gonna be working on. I've been on YouTube for 7 years, and every week, it's probably because I only do it once a week. So muscle memory is gone. And I've had a gazillion setups. I've gone live on my phones. I go live on this sometimes. I go live on the project cam, this phone. Um, I go live. I used to go live from my old laptop. The old laptop I could still fire up, but for whatever reason, the camera and the mic stopped working on it. So because it stopped working on it, I had some harrowing moments and things. And um, I go live um, from the new laptop. So from the new laptop, I'm not really loving the new laptop. It's taking way too much to try and get used to. It is a Chromebook. And the reason it's a Chromebook is because I just spent almost $1,000 on the new big super duper iPad, the big giant. It looks like a laptop. It's huge. So I just got that. The goal was, I can go live from there. What I didn't know was I would not be able to still share my screen. So it wasn't fun. Yeah. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. So I say all of that to say I'm late because I couldn't get the volume and the sound and things like that to work on one of the devices. So if you guys can hear me and you're not hearing an echo, I did something right. I just don't know what it was that I did right. But 3 different devices. I got an admin. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you guys how faithful I am behind the scenes. I apologize if this causes anything, but I'm gonna add to the stage and then remove. There I am. Woo! Sorry, I'm giving y'all just like breast. But that's my third. So if you can hear me, you could see me, and you could see the project on one screen. I have done something right finally. Let me get into the chat and say hello to everyone. Again, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but that is why. Hola, Princess Tia. Hi, Rhonda. Mary. How you doing this evening? Linda, how are you? There is my cousin, Timmy. Hey, Timmy, how's it going? Matt, what's up, Matt? Matt then came in to Diamond Painting this year, and he is already well known by most of your favorites. So congratulations to him. That means that he is dedicated. He is getting out there. He is communicating in chats, and he is going to several different programs that we all frequent as well. So kudos to you for the love. Whew. I remember when I first came into Diamond Painting, I couldn't wait. I ate up everything that especially Rachel Ray, Mrs. Coffee, and Donnie. Donnie was the first person that I started watching. My girl Redneck, y'all probably know her as Patriot Games, but my girl Redneck Beauty, oh man, she used to keep me going. I used to love her and Metal, and yeah, she didn't take no mess. So that was my girl. I still communicate with her behind the scenes. And I definitely remember, some of the earlier, fans and things. Gail, y'all all know Gail. She's been around for a long time supporting us and things. And I definitely appreciate it. Been Tom, Tammy been here a while. Susan Mascarenas, shouting out to all the greats. Amy, Momo. You guys all are regulars that obviously we come back to communicate with and to try and keep this thing going, keep you guys all interested, give you something to do while you crafting. So let's see. Everybody saying hi. Even me, I just was about to say hi to Tia's Crazy Craft Addiction. I'm in the audience asking y'all, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm glad that you guys can. Just came in to say hi. It's hubby's birthday. Happy birthday to Mr. Momo Grimes. Hopefully it's a great day, or it was a great day, and you guys did some really fun and awesome things. Rhonda says you are where you are when you need to be. That's all good. Booby shot. It was definitely a booby shot. Um, Mrs. Coffee was my first channel. Mrs. Coffee was my third. I went from Donnie Hogan to Rachel Ray, and then obviously her Rachel Ray and Mrs. Coffee, they had a partnership and stuff going on. That was 2018, 2019. Mrs. Coffee, Rachel Ray, Marissa, Pippa down in Australia. Who else? They were my moderators. My first moderator. I had nine. Nine moderators. And I can tell you, on Wednesday nights, it used to just be me and my nine moderators. It was so awesome to have some of the greats, always in my chat, keeping me going, laughing with me and things like that. Those were the early days. Um, I was shy. Shay was one of my first. I know Shay also. So we did retreating and stuff together. 2020 is when the retreat started. And I believe it was 2021 when I met Shay. I met her at the June retreat in 2021. So Tia, I've been watching for, I believe, 2 years or more. Look at you. And I definitely appreciate that. Hopefully, you guys will continue coming back. Since then, you guys all have, witnessed, like I started my channel, my son, he used to be my partner. So it used to be me and him. We'd be sitting at I had a two-station desk. The one that lifts up, I think it's by Artist Law from Michaels. It's the more expensive one. I noticed that everybody was getting different versions of it afterwards, and I was ticked. Like I could have saved $50. But I had the desk that lifts up like a drafting table, and one end of that drafting table you can slide out, and you can have a second like desk area. The second desk area used to be my son's. I took, obviously, as the princess, I took the bigger area, and we would sit in diamond paint and talk crazy about his week at work. His week at work. He's um, he's very reserved, laid back, and he used to work with the rowdier crew, youngins. And the funny part is that he himself would he'd almost be like in the background or something, because he definitely shy and very reserved. So what you guys see before me is, I know that you guys saw last week I was doing another double-sided adhesive. I finished poo. I finished poo. Yes, yeah, I did. And y'all seen immediately when I picked it up to show you guys up close, like the drills had already started popping right then and there. So I have put poo in between like two hard surfaces, And I won't be taking them back out until after I get some more sealing, because I quit sealing paintings. Once you quit sealing them, you either toss the sealer out once it gets old and gooky, or you buy a new sealer. There was no reason to buy a new sealer because I wasn't doing double-sided adhesive anymore. But this one gonna need to be sealed. And you know what the jacked up part is? Y'all know I keep talking about my son. He used to do the diamond painting show with me. So he diamond paints independently, when he has time. He'll do it in his own room while he's sitting at his desk. He might be listening to tunes, or he's in the anime also, so he might be watching a couple episodes of his favorite anime show. Long story short, he'll diamond paint in there. We haven't done anything diamond painting wise together since last summer. So summer 2024, I did a pop-up. He was on the pop-up. He was working on his latest creation. So I'm busting booty. I'm working with double-sided adhesive. He went into what they call diamond paint and burnout, even trying to finish. He had a double-sided adhesive canvas that he had been working on in 2023. It was a lion, and it was gorgeous. And I would one day love to see this get done, but I'm telling you right now, he he started I obviously used to talk to Miss Coffee as well, and he started to like take off days, just like how I got to be take off days from diamond painting and stuff. When it came time to maybe going back to diamond painting, it was a chore for him, like a big chore. Like he didn't want to do it, and I'm like, what's going on? Because it's a craft that he loved. So Miss Coffee was the first one that kind of said, I think Justin got deep diamond painting burnout. And sure enough, he definitely had diamond paint burnout. He came back, for us a couple of times in 2024. He worked on some of his own time and stuff, working on diamond painting. And again, last summer we did something together, a pop-up live or something. But for the most part, he kind of gave up diamond painting and things like that. So what I will say is I'll go back to double-sided adhesive. You guys have heard this before, and it kind of brought back my angst for diamond painting. So I finished Pooh. I have all the double-sided adhesive, the horrible drills. I have all of those, same issues that a lot of people are starting to experience. But because it had me back diamond painting a few times a week, I wanted to continue that feeling like, oh, I can't wait to get in there and diamond paint and we go sit down in my station. I wanted to continue that. So I moved on to another double-sided adhesive. But what I discovered this past week, every time I try to sit down and diamond paint, was that the headache that I had with the drills and the canvas that came with the new one as well. So instead of jumping on a premium painting, you guys know I still buy, and I buy for a reason, because sometimes I think that the price is great for the size. So this is a 30 by 30. You guys know I just finished, I think it was a 15 by 30, or 20 by 30. I think it was 20 by 30. So I just finished a 20 by 30. So it's an increase. Okay, gonna go up a little bit. And this is, one of the more affordable. I got this off Amazon. This is one of the more affordable poured glue. Yay! So I was starting to get a headache on coffee time. And I was like, oh, girl, you know what you need to do? You probably need to move over to pour glue, which is true. But I don't know per se if I was ready to get started on another large project, like one of my dribble designs or one of my capture by radiances. And I know that was the one that I was thinking about doing next. I have been messing around with Mindy, and she was like, why don't you do my, capture by radiance event and things. And a lot of you guys had told me about the event as well. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off. And the reason I wanted to hold off is because my capture by radiance is a big one. I think it's a 60 by 80. It's a big one. So I wanted to hold off. Again, baby steps, a baby stepping in. So pour glue, small project, and it is one that you guys could see. Let me see if I remove this. If it don't make, I don't want you guys to have like, you obviously the screen is, I'm trying to dim. There we go. I don't know if that's making it better or worse. But removing the film doesn't seem to be helping. Putting it back over. Yeah, I don't know if it's helping or if it's better to. Now let's see. I remove it. Now, I don't think it's doing much of a difference. You know, I can see the symbols without, so it's not going to kill me too much. There are some canvases where, unfortunately, you're just going to have to suck it up, buttercup, and you're going to have to, um, turn the light on. You can't see. There were problems with when I was diamond painting the poo because sometimes I couldn't see over the diamond for the whatchamacallit. But you guys will be happy to know this is a round. I'm not as fond of rounds as I am of squares. However, I do think in keeping with the spirit of, just trying to get back into a regular habit of diamond painting, continuing the diamond painting love, it might be a good idea to at least try something that moves fast. So that's why I'm here. Other than that, um, Tammy says mine were Jade, Bev, Lexi, Sparkles, all in 1 year. I think Bev still is going live. So y'all know how tall Bev is? She like 6 feet. She's tall. She's up there with like Crashly. Y'all, a lot of times y'all don't realize how tall or short we are until we meet in person. And so some of my biggest shocks were the talls versus the smalls. Like who's tall, who's shorter. I'm shorter. I'm right in the middle, and like I think I have a tall presence. So like people look at me and they're like, oh, what are you doing over here? And I'm like, I'm short, and they're like, oh. My sisters, Rebecca and Crashly, y'all know her as Ashley. They tall. They real tall. Like they 5'10" each. So they heading up to 6 feet. Um, and then me and Honey Bunny, that's J Rob. We the smalls. So we already know our spots when we take our pictures. We know exactly where to sit, who's gonna be in front of who, but I threw them for a loop this year on the sisters trip. I brought my tall crops. We had to change up the pictures. So I added like 3 inches to my height. Uh, the unfortunate part was you should have seen Honey Bunny. She's looking up at me like, "How you get up there?" Lots of fun, lots of fun. Um, I watched so many Intel dramas, then I left. I wanted to learn about diamond painting. Exactly. That's probably, what I keep trying to come back to is making sure that I continue to focus my diamond painting channel on diamond painting. Tammy said, "Oh my God, my 17-year-old grandson watches anime." Oh my. Now, I'm going to be honest. There have been times when I'll go in the room and I'll try and watch anime with them. And there's some good stuff in there. So I'm not going to be upset and things about, how addicted he is to it. However, it's anime. And sometimes I'm like, that would not happen in real life, you know. So, um, shoot. All right, I gotta go and I'll be right back. I'm don't go nowhere. I just need to get up. I don't want to give you another boob shot, but I have to get my scissors. All the things that I left on the other side. All right. Hopefully y'all can still see me. And here we go. I forgot the scissors. I did. So I'm back. I'm doing a round. The first time in a long time. So I want y'all to wish me well. Wish me well. Wish me well. Uh-oh. See, I got stuff happening over here. Just trying to cut off one. Here we go. All right. So let's see. I'm doing my first Captured by Radiance now. So which one did you get? The Captured by Radiance. Um, definitely. I love a lot of their work. Obviously, you know, they're one of the channel sponsors. And then we have Dip in Time. She is one of the affiliates. You guys know my bestie up there in Canada, Lizzie of Lizzie's World of Gems. She also is an affiliate. So you guys want to shop Captured by Radiance, make sure that you guys are using one of their codes so you can get a discount off of your purchase. Let's see. Everyone's saying that's awesome. Matt says, have you done any minis? Easy, one sitting project with all the amenities of new quality canvases. I have. So Matt don't be watching me, huh, y'all? Where they at? Let me go ahead and show off a little bit. Y'all know last year's challenge was that I complete a diamond painting. And I bring this up again because, well, one, because I want to answer Matt's question. Two, bringing it up again because I don't feel that I did anything wrong. So I haven't done the Diamond Art Club minis, but I have done the Paint Gems minis. Hold on one second. I'm cluttering up the workspace for you, Matt, because I want to show you. All righty. So I have done the Paint Gems minis. I've shown these. These little these came in handies. So last year's challenge was to complete a diamond painting canvas. Um, and here's my completion. Not one, but two. Yes, they are minis, but there was no qualification. She didn't say it has to be at least a yada 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 by yada yada yada. And because she didn't say that, when I remembered that I had these, I have 2 boxes of these. When I remembered that I had these, I said, oh, good. Good. I have something that I can, aspire to complete. So that was and I did too. Look at you getting in on the fun. So I said, that's something I definitely know that I can do. I don't think it's too hard to push. And I won't feel too much of a sense of failure if I don't get it completed. So because I feel like I barely started anyway. But I did. I sat down. I did one. I was recording, and because I started off taking pictures, and then I did like some pictures halfway through, and I was recording a premiere, and the premiere got all jacked up. I was supposed to be doing 2. So for the second premiere, I did at least show the pictures. Um, but again, just always wanting to show you guys when I do accept a challenge, I look at the technicality of it all. Is this something possible? Can I personally get it done? And so I had to do the same thing. But yes, I did the 2 paint gems. I did feel accomplished because it was a separate session. I sat down, I completed the canvas, and then I got up. And then when I went and did the second one, again, that's an accomplishment because I hadn't had a complete. I can start a diamond painting, no problem. I hate the kit up process because I feel like that's taken away from diamond painting time. But I would at least kit up. I don't mind baggies because they ready to go. Just pour it in and then boom, start diamond painting. So I definitely don't mind when it comes to the, sorry about that. Okay. I don't mind when it comes to diamond painting with the baggies and stuff. Rounds, I mean, I don't hate them. It's just I don't have a preference for their canvas. And the diamonds are a little bit larger and things like that. So I'm always trying to make sure, when it comes to a round that I'm spreading them out as much as possible. I'm not very fond of hold on one second, let me get back. Here we go. I'm not very fond of any type of canvas show. And that's where, I started to kind of fall for um the squares and stuff because you're completely covering the canvas. But you guys, one of the things that I think I have, obviously trays started to become an issue and things like that. So we're trying 82 different trays. Lids and things matter. Where to put the trays and things like that. So going back to double-sided adhesive, I did obviously get back into just um the original trays, the ones that came with these little kits and stuff. While these green ones, they're still a pain in the butt. And the reason they're a pain in the butt is because they didn't have a pour spout and things. Second reason why they are a pain in the butt for me. Oh, Tia. Y'all see what I just did? I kind of knew I was going. That's why I like baggies. That's why I like baggies. I just don't have no marker. I'm going to have to. But that's why I like baggies, because the stuff don't spill. Anyway, thank you, Diamond Art Club. Diamond Art Club does provide baggies. Some of the smaller canvases, they provide them as well. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but what I noticed is they only give you like 5. I don't know what you're supposed to do with 5 baggies, but here we go. And obviously I gotta leave the see if it'll focus. Okay, there it is, number 1. I gotta leave this in because I don't have a marker to be able to kind of write on and show which one. But back to poured glue. This should be fun. It's not what we would consider to be a premium kit, but it should definitely take away some of the headaches I was starting to experience by forcing myself to try and complete these I was definitely forcing myself, but trying to complete these uh, double-sided adhesive canvases and things like that. I mean, it did take me back to a time where, when we were buying the diamond paintings, we bought because it was cute or because of a memory or something like that. Not because, like now, when you spend money on these premium canvases, it's got to matter. It's got to have like a reason. So we're gonna see. This right here is feeling like these are kind of staticky. So we'll see. Those are terms that I remember having. There we go. You can move the drill around. That's the one thing that I remember missing. When you put it down on a double-sided adhesive, it's got to be down. It's just got to stay down, and there's no moving it around. If you need room and stuff, no moving it around. So that's the one thing I definitely remember. Anyway, moving over from there, you guys now know why I'm not working on coffee time tonight. That big old long introduction just to tell you that I have moved over. It's still, waiting to be completed, but it started causing me so much frustration. Again, those AliExpress canvases, early purchases, the drill quality is horrendous. Like your drill is concave on the bottom. How is a concave, piece going to stay nice and flat against the adhesive? So that's what I was noticing trying to do a double-sided adhesive. Did I just see my husband pop in here? I did. Robert. How you doing, Robert? It's been a while. Tia, do you kit up in baggies? Nope. I wish, Matt. You see all of these? These are Harbor Freights. I stopped counting at 31. I believe I won 2 Harbor Freights 3 or 4 years ago in one of Rebecca's lives. I won Harbor Freight, and she said, "Give me your address," and I said, "Girl, all the Harbor Freights I got, you just give it to me at one of the sisters' trips or one of the retreats." So, um, so I think she gave them to me at the next year's retreat. And then I won more Harbor Freight, more Harbor Freights. At this point, I have more Harbor Freights than anything. I do like them. I like the size of the storage container. I see all kinds of videos. I think I watched what's her name, Diamond Painting. She did a video last week on her new. She had tray bricks and the Forever, whatever those called, what, Forever Youngs. She had those. And then she had a new one. I think she said it was by Art Dot or something. Anyway, I see all of them and I want to try all of them. But I start to look at them and I think, for what I paid for my Harbor Freight, because they'll come with like 60 or something like that. Um, that's three Harbor Freights. That's $15. And so it's still more cost efficient to have a Harbor Freight system than some of those. Would I still buy? I would. But you guys know, when it comes to wasting money, I'd rather do it on the diamond painting. Uh, so going back to the chat, um, Tammy thought Bev would be short. Nope, Bev is, I think she's 5'9" or 5'10" as well. Um, Tammy says she's doing a round. Reminds me of why I don't like doing rounds. I did Lips by Morphine about 4 years ago. That's the Mandy Manzano with the red, chic lady and things. And it was fun. It was the first time that I had so much fun. It was a lot of color blocking and things like that, but I was really enjoying it and stuff. I did that for my niece's graduation. So, and I got that framed and things for her. I do have a second, thankfully. I have a second Lips Like Morphine. And so I'm thinking that that's going to be a 2026. But I definitely had a good time. It went quick. I think, I don't, I think it's a 50 by 60 or something like that. It's a bigger portrait painting, but it went fast, like 2.5 to 3 weeks. It was done. It was a lot of color blocking, wasn't a lot of confetti. And so when you color block it, especially if you get to switch to different colors often, so you have larger areas of one solid color and you're switching often, that's that Mandy Manzano, framing, stained glass frame, I guess, effect that she has. You're moving from color block section to color block section, and it moves faster and swifter. And that might be why that was a lot of fun. So I'm glad I bought two of them. One of them, like I said, I completed on my channel, and it was a gift. So I'm thinking about doing another one, but that one, obviously, I would bling up as well. So those green bolts are just a dirty trick. They are designed to flip and fling drills everywhere. Well, they do a good job of that. uh, so, got a bunch. I'm doing a seahorse by Dominic Davidson. Let's see. Nope, I did that. Robert says, nice to see you. Everyone's saying hi to Robert. I'm doing well so far. Been working a lot. You working? Well, I miss you. Thank you for coming to see me, honey. If y'all don't know, Robert Eisen is the quintessential subscriber. Gosh, I think I met him in 2018 or 2019, and he is one of the OGs. Amazon carries the Harbor Freight type. I'm gonna have to check that. I just ordered from Art Dot ones. I like Art Dots. Just a small amount for small minis. And then Matt says, I haven't been sold on the tray kit ups yet. Um, he says, I do the screw type bottles. I have those also. Um, I don't. That was a little. I have to bring it in here because this is at my old diamond painting station, and I haven't fully brought everything over into my new craft room yet. Um, I do have some with the screw bottles. I bought those. Um, you know how they had a container where you keep the screw bottle and stuff like that in. Those are nice for traveling. So if you travel a lot, that's great. Berta got me a set with the square. You remember the thin tic tac containers. Berta got me one. It's got the real, like the wide tic tac containers. And those are nice also. They're a little more flimsier though than the Harbor Freight. Like, when you go to flip these up after a while, and I have enough that it probably won't impact me for a long time. But a lot of people say after they use their Harbor Freights for a while, the lift top, or let me do it like this, the lift top becomes flimsier. And so that might be a reason to maybe consider other, diamond painting drill storage systems. Then, obviously tray bricks and stuff. If you have a smaller area, I like this because it's not too cumbersome in my new craft room. So I like this setup, but I do have my Harbor Freights right here off to the side. It's taken up. So what do I do when I have a larger canvas, when I do get back to working some of my larger canvases? So you guys saw, I showed you a little while ago. Let me switch mice. Let me see if I did show you guys a little while ago where I was considering, um, definitely considering maybe getting a, what do they call those, pegboard system? I'm gonna have to show you guys because I share my screen. Did I get rid of it? Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully this comes in. There we go. Alrighty. So this is the canvas I'm working on today. Look at the price. This is exactly why I wanted to kind of share it with you guys and show you guys, because it's a good idea. So I'm gonna go over to my cart. I'm going to show you guys the pegboard that I am considering. Don't look at this price. Obviously, I would never spend this much at once. Don't look at this price either, because I wouldn't do that either. I just load up my cart, and then I go back in later on and I hit all these save for later, save for later, save for later, save for later. So that's what you guys are looking at right now. When I go and purchase, I know how to just come along to the side and click, or so here is the pegboard that I am actually considering. So hopefully you guys be able to see this. It is basically, a room divider or a changing box. So we talked about that. I think I did, Matt, a couple of weeks ago, and I was basically letting everyone know that the dream box is definitely something that I would love to be able to get. However, um, the unfortunate part about the dream box are, you guys, I don't see that you guys are getting everything that, oh, I'm sorry, it went back to a different screen. Um, that's the problem with this being right behind. Let me share this new screen. All right. Sorry about that. I didn't realize when I share my screen, it wouldn't go to the new screen. So let me go back. You see in the top of my head, I'm pretty sure, because I'm looking behind. Alrighty, here we go. Here we go. So let's see if you guys can see. So we talked about the dream box before. Obviously, the dream box is beautiful. The dream box, I was about to get it. You guys know that's definitely up my alley. something I would do. Anyway, the dream box, it gives you organizational space for everything. You have a desk area that you can pop up, and it is big enough to where you can have stations in there. So you could have up to three separate crafting stations inside the dream box. And then the dream box, it all closes up into one little handy dandy area. And you're putting all your crafts that you work, you're putting them all away. The only thing that I noticed about the dream box is the price was $3,900. So that's what you see my shopping cart is. It's all the things that I would love to have to kind of create my own dream box. The unfortunate part is that even for a fraction of the price, I still couldn't create something that kind of broke down and folded, up out the way that the dream box does. So that was the only difference. But for $3,900, it should be the Swiss Army knife of crafting. You should be able to get every trinket and bauble in, and just go to whatever section you want when you sit down to craft. It's a great idea. It's a lot of husbands out there buying it for their wives. Hint, hint, Robert. But it is $3,900. So in this lifetime, I don't think I will see one. Even if I had the money, I don't know if I still would just go out and buy it. I would always try and piece it together. However, it still was a great idea, and I just wanted you guys to see that. So this is obviously where it would start, but I would need two of these pegboards. One to go behind me because I would then peg in to the pegboard system. I'm trying to show you guys that, but I would peg in to the pegboard system, some kind of shelves for the tray brick system or for the forever young trays and things like that. Now, I think it was last week, it might have been the week before, I also showed you guys the Diamond Art Club trays. I do really like those trays. I probably have enough to create some kind of system of my own because the lids are very sturdy, very, very sturdy. And you're building in almost your own storage system for every purchase that you have, especially, the newer ones when they start. Now, I don't know when they started because I buy a lot of canvases and I very, very rarely do an unboxing. You guys saw how horrible my live unboxing was. The canvas was so huge. It was really big. And because of how big it was, I had very difficult time really trying to, unbox it here in this section. So next time if I do an unboxing, I'm not really fond of unboxings. Um, and it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that somebody else probably already unboxed the item. So why add to it? Why be the 18th, YouTuber to unbox the same canvas? So um but this is obviously this folds up, and that was, kind of some of the goal and things like that, but it doesn't fold away in a way that you're able to keep your pegged items on there the way that the dream box does. So again, this would be an ideal way to create that dream box, but this room it is for the room. It's not like, obviously you're not going to be able to take that and then, go somewhere different and things like that. But as you can see, you could in essence buy two of them. Let me go back. You could in essence buy two of them and then give yourself a square, like an enclosed area. Um, if that's what you guys are looking for. I like that they show you the sizing and things like that. So some of the accessories that you can buy that you can use to go into a pegboard, they'll have the sizing on them. And so you'll be able to know, like, obviously, you could put in different types of hooks and stuff. So if you look right here, J hooks, these are straight hooks, S hook, and shelving units that you can put into the pegboard also. So, and it'll show you when you purchase them, it'll show you like the distance between the knobs and things like that. So you know the best way to put them in to your pegboard system. So hopefully that helps you guys. um I'm hoping I'm being a help, not a hindrance. And so obviously that's the next thing that I wanted to do, is to make sure that I was showing you guys that. So that's where I'm at when it comes to, oops, sorry about that. So that's where I'm at when it comes to, trying to like focus. I need one of those things. I know that you guys have seen them where you can purchase one of those power buttons you can put over your light pad to keep from turning it on or off accidentally. So that's where we are. Obviously, this week has been a lot of fun. Again, me crafting, on top of me crafting, me trying to, figure out, well, I'm enjoying diamond painting. I'm back doing it, but what can I move on to do? So that is why you saw me kind of move from coffee time. The goal, hopefully, is that I'll be able to get back to coffee time. And maybe, it'll be a way for me to continue to kind of pull myself out of a lull when I find myself, kind of just slipping back in and things like that. So, have you ever experienced, um, it's taking me a minute to get back used to these rounds. Have you guys ever experienced, that, that it's because it's hard to admit that you are in, but have you ever experienced anything close to diamond painting burnout? Where, it's something that you love so much. Remember, we were defending it staunchly with all of our loved ones and things, and now, here we go sounding like it's too tedious. Oh, I don't feel like doing this. uh, you know and did our passions, our passion for painting and stuff, is that something that, because we passionate at first, we buying everything we see. Oh, that's cute, we getting it. It don't have to be anything with a meaning. We could look at it and not be able to explain what it is, but just the grouping, something about it caused us to say, ooh, that's cute, so we bought it. um in them early days, unfortunately, that's literally what we're doing when we see, the canvases and stuff. There were some of us, though, I will admit, they were just smarter with their purchases and stuff, so they would be like, oh, I'm gonna wait on that, and yeah, that's cute when they was able to, keep it moving and things. That wasn't me, unfortunately. I went head on into, like, there was no tomorrow and things like that. You got to get rid of this today. There's no tomorrow. Go ahead on, make the purchase. So that's exactly what I did. I bought everything I thought was cute. Um, and I feel like it was, that it was a good idea, especially at the time. And the reason is because I I was I was touched. I was excited. It was a new thing. It was like a new shiny toy. So hey, Tia and chat. Marla, how are you this evening? Diamond painting burnout. Never. See, that's something we don't ever want to admit to. Um, when I feel that way, I pull out a small, colorful canvas. See, so Linda, that's exactly what I feel like occurred. I went back in time and I pulled out a small one, but those were the only ones that I had that were that small. Once I discovered poured glue, I remember a medium sized canvas was for me a 40 by 50. And that was a sweet spot for me. All of, I want to say 2018 and 2019, the beginning of 2019. And they started getting bigger, they started going 50 by 60. And then the new medium became a 60 by 80. I don't know what happened, but 40 by 50 became like a snack size. 30 by 40, 40 by 50 were starting to be considered small. Medium was 60 by 80. Anything above a 60 by 80 became large. And so then we started seeing 90 by 70s. Y'all remember the princesses? 125 by 42. That's big. That's huge. And those started to become the norm. We were working on if you've done the chuck along chucks or not, because of the details that you need for a landscape. It almost definitely should be a square because you can get more details out of squares. And then it's going to have to be at least maybe a 60 by 80 for the details to pop and to show, especially in confetti areas. Um, that's usually how the the love of diamond painting progresses. But I love that, pulling out a smaller canvas. I did that. I think I won't say it was restored because of the frustrations from doing the double-sided adhesive, but I will say I was back excited, couldn't wait. Getting here, just diamond painting things. I'm in here laughing, chuckling to myself and things. I'm watching YouTubers again. That had been, a while and stuff like that for me. I had noticed I was just going into my faves. I'm back, like immersing myself in the community and things. So keep all of that in mind. Matt says, I'm definitely doing less right now, but it's mostly from it being a heavy sports season. I still diamond paint a good bit every day. Okay. So Matt, what sports do you watch? That's always interesting that we ask, of the men and things like that. So we had a few men that kind of hit very hard, very heavy in the diamond painting community. My friend Billy, and Billy started in San Diego and he moved cross country to Michigan and left me behind here in the desert. Every once in a while, you guys will see him post. He did move over to TikTok. He was on TikTok for a bit, and he will post every once in a while on Facebook as well. So he was diamond painting. He was still crafting as of last time I spoke to Billy was about 3 months ago. So he's, still doing what needs to be done and things like that. Just, wondering. And let's see. Tammy says, I don't diamond paint as much or for hours. Marla says, I am over the FOMO from a certain company. In case you guys don't know, FOMO is fear of missing out. So we do experience that a lot. We, get to a point where we see something, we all start oohing and ahhing, and then we want to be in line to get it and things like that. I kind of took myself out of that FOMO a few years ago. Um, and the reason to curb the way I purchased. Now, when my kids got older and didn't need me as much anymore, I'm not toting back and forth to different ball games. I'm not toting, trying to go from this football game over to my daughter. She was a cheerleader to watch her cheer. I'm by myself a lot more. I got all this extra time on my hand. That's when I started to craft and things. I definitely I missed out on being able to craft the way I like when they were little. But I did have like crafting sessions where I used to like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Because we didn't have cable and I didn't like allow, I won't say allow, there was no way to at that point. Because remember, they were taking away the antenna on the TVs and stuff. And you had to buy a digital antenna to even get, air cable and stuff. I never, moved over to that and stuff. I didn't want the kids to be reliant on watching television and stuff. I want them to really kind of hone their creativity side. And so with that said, because I was trying to get them to hone their creativity side, they didn't watch a lot of TV. And my dad used to feel horrible for them. So he kept them stocked in CDs, DVDs, and things like that. And they would get so much TV time where they could catch up on what was out there, by watching these. My dad used to send us 2 packages a week. We got one at the beginning of the week. That was probably for all the shows the kids missed, maybe over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He would record. He had like TVs dedicated to the kids. He had one TV where he would record Disney, another TV where he would record Nickelodeon, and all the shows how they was coming on. He would save them on, you remember them little discs and little uh DVD disc you could burn yourself. Oh my gosh, he was constantly for at least 8, 10 hour days. So they got two packages a week, one from Nickelodeon, one from Disney. Um, and they would be able to watch these, an hour or two after homework and stuff was done. And then we would get a second package later in the week, and that would be like the shows that came on Monday through Thursday and things. So he made sure that even though I was trying not to, have them dependent on TV, that they were still relevant. They could still have stuff to talk about with their friends at school and things like that. And they, so they would have friends who, oh, my dad was watching TV because of sports. I didn't even get a chance to. And they would be like, well, in Enterprise and kids and stuff, maybe you guys can come over and watch I guess prone to bullying and things like that. Oh, y'all don't have TV. Oh, y'all didn't get a chance to watch it. They had an opportunity where they were actually able to bring other kids into, their environment and watch those missed items with them. So, yeah, I don't order too much anymore. I just look at all the large ones I have left. Um, s- During that time when they stopped needing me and they were out, because I shortchanged myself a lot. Like my kids want to go to church camp. Church camp was not cheap. It was like $500 a child, for them to go off for a few weeks to church camp. Then my son, he played football, so he may need his sports package paid for. Um, I don't know how your school districts work, if they all are similar or not, but if they make the team in May, their sports package has to be paid for by the time school starts in August. So I already have two kids to send to church camp. I got football camp, fees and everything to pay for that went toward their pads, help with their travel expenses when they went to other schools and things. And then I had cheer camp. My daughter wanted to do cheerleading, and she started off from middle school all the way up. And so I had to pay for cheer packages. Then she wanted to do this thing called competition cheer. It's still cheer, but it costs more money. Um, and so that's where all my extra money was going for. And I had to get those paid for between May and August. So I would start in September, and I would save and do what I could all from September all the way up to like April. And then obviously April, we're starting to get them into the camps and things like that. My father, he took care of school clothes in August. He always got their school clothes. That helped out a lot. And then y'all might hear me call her my baby sister. She come in the chat every once in a while. Her name is Lori. So if you see her, Lori took care of Christmas and winter clothes. So that is how a single mom who worked three jobs, I worked one out of the home, I worked one remote from home during the week, and I worked a second from home, a second remote job from home for the weekend. So three jobs, one during the day, one in the evening during the week, and one on the weekend. The beauty of it is I was able it does. It takes a village. And I had an awesome one. I had an amazing village. So, at one point I did go back to school. I finished the degree I had started, and that caused me to be able to see, a increase in pay. When I got the increase in pay, obviously I couldn't let one of the jobs go. Now, we got quality time and stuff we able to spend. I still didn't, get cable. That was more money for crafting. And we did everything. I used to have a men's line. We did candles. We've done lip balm, body oils, lotions, bath salts. We did basket weaving. Um, Basket weaving was definitely fun. We worked with leather, obviously Palmer clay. That was ceramics back then, though. Um, I've done it all. I didn't do scrapbooking. I'm shocked about that, but I didn't do scrapbooking and things. Crochet, definitely crochet. My daughter crocheted up all the family members, all kinds of items at 7 years old. She hats, gloves, scarves. She hooked everybody up. So I definitely had my time, to where the crafting was for kids. I say all of this to say that come 20, I believe it was 2017, my kids, they were getting older. You should start doing some stuff for you, mom, and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So the first thing that everyone suggested was that I get myself a budget. Craft budget. That's the amount that I can spend every month on crafting. No guilt. No guilt. So that amount ended up being $200, and it was everything. It ended up being, also to contribute to, my retreat trips and stuff like that. So I don't want you thinking, oh my gosh, she buying $2,400 a year worth of diamond paintings. Um, while that may have been the case at some point in one of those years, a lot of that did start to go towards retreating as well. So retreating was an opportunity for me to kind of get out there, get to know people. The first retreat, Marissa, she held that. It was a great idea, loved it. There were 16 of us at that retreat. 16. And when I tell you, when it was time to go, all the tears, all there was a lot of snot bubbles, all of the crying, I mean, it's a great bonding experience because of how great the bonding experience is. Everyone goes home, they talk about it, they feel renewed, refreshed, and then we start to miss that connection and things. So the next thing there were more retreats that came after that. And that experience continued to kind of flow over into other, opportunities and stuff. Opportunity to go here, opportunity to meet this new group of people. Um, and now I say that because Tall Oaks Retreat, that is the retreat house that Tima and her husband J Pa are are going to be running. They did 2 guinea pig sessions, just kind of do a quick run, what's working, what's not working. Y'all give me suggestions. Is this area big enough? How we doing rooms? Um, I'm in guinea pig session number 2. This past weekend was the first guinea pig session. I'm in the chats and everybody was having a great time. If you did not see T-Mon's show on Friday, maybe, kind of go back because she did show the area. And at one point she dipped into the crafting room and she kind of showed everybody, kind of diamond painting and things like that. So it gave me a great idea of what to bring. Obviously, I don't want my space crowding out too many people. So those are going on. So hopefully, I don't remember seeing a dance room, but at the retreats, Tima and J-Pa are really big on giving us, some, side activities to do. Get us up, get our blood pumping and things like that. We do diamond paint usually all throughout the night. Around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning with Tima and J-Pa. It is not out of the ordinary for them to get up and we start dancing. We're playing music and things like that. It's time, we've been sitting down all day. It's time to kind of shake our bums. And so we usually have a time where that's a focus. So hopefully, when I head out to the retreat, I'm going to be gone from the 6th through the 9th of November. I am going to crash lease for a couple of days before the retreat and probably a few days after. So, obviously, I'll be keeping you guys posted. But that's what I have to look forward to. And Matt says, yeah, I'm definitely over the have to buy every kit. That I kind of like my first year. So I did have to have those as well. Like I had a $200 budget. If you guys don't know, 2020, I lost my job, pandemic, due to pandemic. And it was very difficult because I had to assess a lot of things. And I remember I did a poll. One of the things, how long do I need before I have to go back to work? So, and I had, I think, 10 months. I think I had 10 months before I just had to. The other question I remember posing was, do I or don't I keep the craft budget? That was a hard decision, and that's how addictive I was to diamond painting at that point. So at the retreat, um, which was in October of 2020, at the retreat, I had already like started applying different places and things, and started, interviewing and things like that. Some people who had sent me offer letters, unfortunately, I was kind of thumbing my nose down and things like that. But I was getting to the point, I think I had 8 months to go. You know, 10 sounds like, oh, you got a long way. 8 months, it doesn't sound like you got that much further away to go. So that was when we were already close and we were roommates. So we had already decided to stay together. But that was when Rebecca, she says, get your laptop and we're going through your offers. And so went and got my laptop, and she literally helped me just kind of hone down the offer letters that I had. She said, this one looks like, the problem was that I had bust my butt. I just told you guys, single mom, got, a purpose for different family members that were helping me grow my village. I took some time to better me, went back to school. Now I'm doing well, I'm making great money. And the offers were almost half. So I was making 84, and I was getting offers like 44, 48, 52, and things like that. I was like, oh my gosh, that was a huge drop, Um, there just wasn't a lot of opportunity. So Rebecca had went back through a lot of my offers and stuff, and we found one that was a lot higher. It was still lower than 84K, but it was, one of the higher ones. It just that it came in first and so it was so much lower that, I had thumb my nose down on it and stuff. So that's the unfortunate part. We look at things like that. But in the midst of that, obviously I had a lot of people saying to me, don't spend the money. You could use it for this, start saving it for that. I will let you know, I did invite the kids into the conversation. Not only the kids, my sister, because she had helped out a lot. I invited her in. Do I suspend my crafting budget during this time? What would you guys do? And obviously my retreat had already been paid for and things like that. So there wasn't, a hey, why are you even going on the trip? Um, so I went on the trip, ended up going through, I think it was a Saturday morning. We spent a couple of hours, and she finally was like, yeah, I think that you should follow up with them. We had hardly no service. We were out in McQueenie, Texas. We were at a really, really rustic location. And so just remember I couldn't get through. I called the lady to see if the offer was still good. And when she called back, the call like never rang through, but all of a sudden I have a voicemail. So I'm trying to get back through to her, and I'm like, oh my goodness, finally we connected. I left her a message that let her know I was, out at a retreat, and that we had very spotty internet. And so if she's getting my messages, I just wanted to let her know that I was interested in revisiting the offer and to see if it was still good. And so she did get back, and she had to leave a voicemail because her phone, the call was just not going through and things. So when I tell you I'm immersed in the diamond painting community, those are some of the reasons why, when you go into something like that, to have someone to talk to that kind of calms you down and says, don't worry about it. We're going to get you through this time period and stuff. that was so helpful. But that is, how obviously my roommates at that point was J Rob, Ashley, or Crashly, as you guys know, and Rebecca. We also sat at a diamond painting table together. So when it comes to like being able to share, we became close. We became kindred spirits, and we have been sisters ever since. So that's really, the nutshell of like my evolution and things. I will tell you that the experience, like I ended up being employed like right after I got back. They were like, well, how soon can you start? How can we get you? So I am I am licensed as a producer, well, as an adjuster now. I moved over, and I've worked several different sides of insurance. I've done um I used to be a trainer and trained liability investigation, special investigation. I've done policy, underwriting. So I've been on all sides of insurance and things. Like I started as a producer. A producer is known as an agent or a broker. And so, you know, I've run the gamut when it comes to it and things like that. But not all of the positions are, are high paying positions. And so even if you do ascend high, what I learned is sometimes coming into a new company, you may have to start low and then climb your way back up. So I was insurable, and that was the one thing that, I mean, not insurable, I was hireable. I'm talking about insurance. I was hireable, and I knew that I would be able to obtain a position, and yeah, she kept that angst off of me, and I appreciated that. So hopefully you guys are all able to kind of get, into some sort of connection with someone and have that as well. I still have some things on my diamond painting bucket list, like a mystery kit and a cross stitch conversion. Definitely enjoyed doing a cross stitch conversion. It's different. It's a different way to diamond paint. It definitely is. It takes some of the elements of cross stitch and definitely fuses them directly into your diamond painting experience. You do have to watch, just like it's easy to frog when you're cross stitching, the same thing occurs when it comes to a diamond painting conversion. I do still have mine that I have to finish. I got halfway, if you guys don't know, me and Rochelle were working on cross stitch conversions. Hers was a lot more intricate than mine. Mine was a lot of color blocking. And so the color blocking was like white. And I tried to change that color blocking from white into like a crystal, the original sparkler from um, diamond painting with sparkler from DP with sparklers. I tried to use just the original sparklers for the background. And that, when you are too large an area of a color block, that could be defeating. And so that's what I started to feel on that. I'm trying to make sure I got enough. I did use a digital cross stitch program, but on top of that, I'm trying to make sure, that my count is right. Sometimes your count can be off, and that's what I unfortunately experienced. So there we have it. Tammy says that she did lots of 30 by 40s her first year. Then she did a Chuck Pinson. Then it seems that she continued with that size. Exactly. Matt says everything. October is crazy, but football in full swing, baseball playoffs, basketball, and hockey just starting up. A lot going on for a sports fan. Yep. And shout out to Las Vegas Aces. They are the 2025 WNBA champions again. I'm sorry, I shouldn't gloat, but I'm gloating. I'm gloating because a few years ago, I think it was around 2020, 2021, I did watch WNBA when they first came out. They were just, you just rooting for your local team and things like that. I don't know what occurred, 2019, 2020, the WNBA became exciting. Like if you're a sports fan and you just appreciate sports and you appreciate, you are a player fan, you like different players, maybe not so much a team. it became exciting to watch. It's a lot of it stemmed over, there was some controversy going on in the NCAA. The girls, were starting to have beefs and grudges, sort of akin to the men. And so that would carry on. Obviously, when they came out of college and went into the WNBA, now we want to see how they fare playing against each other on their, national team and things. So I think that made it exciting. And I was watching ESPN Sports Center one night, and they talked about how ratings wise, the WNBA was becoming more of a financial financial success, I guess. It was becoming more than the regular NBA, than the fellas, and so that, kind of caused it took off from there. It's huge here because obviously we have a winning team and things, but just making sure you guys know. Marla says, my kid's pediatrician was definitely against TV. Yep, he wouldn't have had a problem with mine at all. It takes a village. They'll cherish those hands-on memories. Doesn't all the bubble money go to crafting? All of the bubble money goes to craft. Tall Oaks looks awesome, doesn't it? I am excited. I cannot wait. Tammy says, I'm working on a cross stitch conversion, but put it up for now. It's just slow going. It can be slow going, and that's because there's the math and the, obviously you want to make sure that you are selecting the right, it's a blank canvas. In case somebody who hasn't worked on one, you see that there's a photo here, and you already see that there's symbols on this photo, and you're just making sure to get the right color for the symbol. With a cross stitch conversion, you're just getting a blank canvas, so there's no, photo, there's no pic or proof, as the artist calls it. There's no proof down, and then there's no corresponding symbol to the proof. So the unfortunate part when that occurs is, um, you really have to make sure you're paying attention to the pattern itself. So if you're using a digital program, which sometimes can make it easier because you're plucking, pluck, 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 pluck. So if you did five, plucks on the canvas, you should have deselected five on your program. That's great, but you have to be aware of it's a blank canvas. So it's easy to lose track of what you selected and things. That's the unfortunate part. It's very easy. Even with cross stitch, very easy, because a lot of times cross stitch, you start with a blank Ada. You very rarely have, and they call that counted cross stitch. And you very rarely have the canvas on there. So you're always paying attention to the pattern. When you're making X's and things, I think it's a little easier, maybe, with cross stitch than the conversion, but you're still trying to be careful. And maybe a little bit easier to just cut the floss and remove remove the inconsistency. You got a lot to flick up to pull up when it's a diamond painting. WNBA was blowing up then, seemed to have some trouble this year. Too much drama and not in a great way. Correct. That's some of the NCAA stuff I feel that spilled over. Whatever's going on with this Angel Reese and what's her name, Caitlin Clark. At some point, is let it go and move on, because they're both great players and stuff. And I think the problem is rooted in jealousy. Either Angel's extreme. I think Angel's jealous. This is my take. I think she's jealous, because she is someone who is great in her own right, and the recognition sometimes seems to go to the other player. Both their names come up even when they're both not playing, and that's not a great, that's not great for a career. I don't want, someone perceived as, my greatest beef. I don't want my name coming up every time someone's talking about them, and vice versa. So I believe a lot of that is, rooted in that. Also, didn't have a ton on for me, no cable, only use a few streaming services. I definitely don't have cable. Um, I used to have YouTube TV and I really enjoyed it when it was 59 something, then it went to 62, and went from 62 60. The last payment before I was like, this was a bait and switch. It was 90 something dollars. It's up there like with regular cable. And I really enjoyed it because I could take my TV experience to different retreats, and when I traveled and stuff. That's really why I enjoyed it. But it's not enjoyable at 90 something dollars. It was unenjoyable at 59, but at some point the convenience of this shouldn't cost this much, especially so I can have local channels. So it is what it is. I sat down and I remember thinking, what do I really get out of TV? What do I enjoy? I enjoyed Hallmark, I enjoyed Lifetime, and I enjoyed Great American Family. I even watched Dove Channel. That's an inspirational channel. Those were the channels I found myself watching. So there was an app out, the Fernley app, FRNDLY, Fernley TV. I'm sure, without the vowels, or if it had vowels, it would mean friendly. But they left the vowels out. So Fernley TV, I got that, and that had all of those channels on it. So I did like locals, but I already had Prime, and with Prime you get oh goodness, I believe it's the CBS network. I forget what it's called, but I get CBS through there. And then I had my daughter got Peacock when she was at school. She used to go to UNLV. She got Peacock, and that's NBC. So sadly, the only local channels I'm really not getting is ABC and Fox. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And what, the WB is the WB, or what is it, UPN? That was another network, one of those are the only channels that I'm not getting. So, yeah. So, my TV viewing experience, I dwindled it down a lot from 90 something bucks. At one point, when I first moved here to Las Vegas, I I went through all those little apps. You know how you pay $5.99 for Clio TV, $4.99 for this, $3.99 for that, $9.99 for this. I went through all of those little apps. On top of YouTube TV, I had $205 worth of all these tiny little small channels that I would watch. Um, I would enjoy. I would enjoy watching them. And they say free trial. At the end of the trial, you're gonna pay, and I just never would go in. And so next thing you know, $205 on top of the 93 that I was paying for YouTube TV. It's over $300 on TV. And I still had our cell phone with internet, and I had the house internet. So that's starting to become a lot just to enjoy TV when you look at it like that. So we got, cell phone. So it was over 600, and I'm like, something has to go. A lot has to go. So YouTube TV went. Got rid of all $205, and I left my Prime. Um, think we moved the Peacock over to our family account so that she's not just paying for it, it's coming out of our family account. We have the Fernley TV app, and that was it. Let's see what else. I used to have HBO. I had HBO and didn't know it. I had signed up for something and ended up with HBO. Um, and it was billing me. I remember I went all the way back. Oh, Billy wanted to watch something that was coming on um HBO. And so I'm at his house. I think it was 2023. I'm at his house, and he like, "Oh, I don't have HBO and stuff like that." And I'm like, "I think I have it." I told him I thought I had it for like 6 months. I go back and it tells you when you signed up, and it was a long time ago, like 2012 or something like that. Right before my kids came out of school, I had it. Um, so what happened was I had free satellite service. They came out and they, put it on the roof and everything. So at the end of the free trial and things like that, it gave me, now I got HBO free for I don't remember how long, but after that, it started to bill me. I mean, I never checked and never cared and was paying for it and had it for over a decade. So pay attention to them little apps, guys. I don't know why I don't, but uh, and an antenna for local major networks. Okay, they brought a lot more eyes, but maybe weren't prepared to handle celebrity status like established men's league. Yeah, because their coaches tell them, oh, don't be going back and forth and things like. You definitely don't see that. And the women coaches, oh, she just being jealous. Oh, it's just, And I feel like a lot of their attitude is maybe kind of swept off the shoulder, because they are hitters on the team. And so because they're doing well, we gonna overlook their attitude and things like that. If I was their coach, day one, no controversy. And if we get some, I'm gonna handle it off the bat, or you're gonna be off the team. So that's what happened when they become celebrity. They kind of control the attitude of the coach, and the coaches, schools, everybody, because they are vested now into their performance. They don't receive the discipline maybe that another person would who doesn't have the fame or the celebrity. Agreed. I have a few of the big ones. No live TV service, $15 YouTube premium provides most of my entertainment. YouTube is definitely, so I'm not sure what's going on in the world, but I ask people all the time, what do you watch on TV? A lot of people mention YouTube or Netflix. I very rarely hear somebody say, "Yeah, you catch that CBS joint?" Is CBS even still around at this Paramount? That's what I think CBS's streaming service is called, Paramount, and I do have Paramount TV. So I'm able to, but you got to watch it when it's live. I'm able to go into my Amazon account, click on Prime Video, and once I get into Prime Video, you can watch live TV. So if you have a service that you signed up through Prime, it'll show up and you can select which one you want to watch. I only have Paramount, so I'm able to at least watch my local CBS through Paramount TV if if I had a need to really watch. I don't know what comes on anymore because they keep canceling all the shows that I watch. So I used to watch So Help Me Todd. That was a show that I really enjoyed. I mean, I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. I also watched a show called NCIS Hawaii. Now, I'm not sure the why. Everything that I saw about it was that it was doing well in the ratings, but where they were filming at, which was actually Hawaii, became too expensive. So because it became too expensive, the show had to go. Even though, now, I mean, I think if it's bringing in ratings, I think it's a good idea to keep the show, but a lot of the shows that were filming in Hawaii are off the air. So, I was hoping that somebody else would pick it up, how they did with SWAT. Um, but SWAT got canceled 3 times, I think. They just love Shamar. And even once it was getting canceled and stuff like that, they were offering the cast, like, don't worry about it. If they don't bring you guys back, we go. So I'm hearing that there is some sort of spin-off coming from SWAT at this point. So this franchise has been saved time and time and time again. That's beautiful. I remember the first time that I helped bring someone back. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this show called Cagney and Lacey. Cagney and Lacey, it was the 80s. I think I was in high school. They got canceled. Now, I don't think I was in as much uproar about it as um it was a good show. Now I started to think, what am I watch? What am I gonna watch? And they reported on something, Good Morning America or some show. They were reporting that people were writing in and they were requesting to save the show. So because people were writing in requesting to save the show, I decided to do the same thing. This was back when we actually had to write, guys. We actually had to sit down and write. There, there was no oh, where can I send an email? There was no email out then. And so I remember I wrote in, please save my favorite show. What am I gonna watch when the something like that. It was very simple, basic, and I will be happy to tell you I single-handedly saved the show. You know, they was like, well, we need so many, letters to review, and we it looks like we just got enough letters. I feel like my letter, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that think this way also, but I'm pretty sure my letter was the letter. Uh, my letter was the letter that helped get everybody in. Matt says, I'm sure we're still making money, just not all of the money. And if it isn't all the money, it's not enough. I agree. I agree. So I'm not sure, but I love the show. I love that they made her a female badass. I love to see those women empowering shows. You know, they had a few episodes where the men would find out she was the captain of the squad, and they would think they could, and she would have to show them. Boop, boop, boop. She'd come out with her little gun. I remember one guy was one of her team members. They was held captive on a boat. They was trying to get the boat so far off the island, it was gonna kill them. And I know they saw a boat chasing them. Now they assumed that the boat was other, officers and stuff. So they trying to get away. And soon as the boat get close, they had a man on the boat with the gun pointing at like one of the favorite, officers. And soon as the boat comes up and they cock, they about to shoot the favorite officer, she come out of nowhere and gun the guy down. Boom! He fell out. Obviously, he didn't make it. But I thought that was sweet. The woman came in at the last second and he saved the cop. And then obviously the guy that was held captive on the boat and things like that. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was probably one of the episodes that I had just finished watching when I got the news that they was going to be um, non-renewing the next year. And I'm like, who do I gotta write? Who do I gotta write? I'm looking things up online. You know what they said? We we we're not accepting letters. We're not saving this show. That's how people start to find out about why it was so expensive and things like that to film. But they literally was ready for me. They knew, this the lady that saved Cagney and Lacey 30 some years ago. Because she saved Cagney and Lacey, she started reaching out. Don't give her no address. So I didn't get an address to save NCIS. Same thing. So Help Me Todd was such a cute show. It was really good. It was about a mom and her son. The mom was a high powered attorney and he was her like investigator. Um, and he would help her solve cases and things. And I thought that that was a great dynamic, also a great spin on some of the show. Everybody out here trying to do LA law. We got LA law, we got all of these SVUs. Obviously we got 18 NCISs and things like that. So they did keep NCIS Sydney. That's the one down in Australia. I did enjoy that one, but they had like 8 episodes and then they went off. um and so right when I was getting into them, like, oh, this is great, I love it. Oh, if you write a letter now, it might work. They gonna think what kind of psycho, right? Matt. Matt is crazy. You're right. I should write a letter instead of looking to send an email. That might have helped out. A letter might have actually worked. 2025, they'd be like, it's a letter? Oh my gosh, and they'd probably send everybody after me. Who writing letters? Did she put something in the paper? What's going on? Obviously nobody writes letters anymore. So you might be right, Matt. That might have actually worked. I might have been able to bring my show back on TV. Now she had a lot going on, so I didn't see her online like how Shamar, he don't have no shame at all. Kayleen says, send the facts. Oh, well, have a good night, Linda. Thank you very much for hanging out, having a good time with us. And uh, see you Saturday morning. Don't forget Morning Laughs with Lizzie and Tia, or Tia and Lizzie. That's this week. So I don't know. I think you might be right. I think a letter might do a better job. um, uh-oh. This just was a horrible idea, Tia. Horrible. Horrible. Hold on. There we go. Now I feel a little bit better. In case y'all wondering. Oh, shoot. That was almost a bad idea. Y'all ever had that happen before? Where you put something down on your diamond painting once? Oh, man. I've definitely been there before. Definitely done that. So, all right. So, started. Put my note in. Boom. What I like about these, again, they're real easy. Real easy. Easy, easy, easy. Um, Baggies. These are the baggies that come from Diamond Art Club. I do appreciate that they give you a lot. They give you a lot. But you can always go to a retreat. People bring things to they call it a D-stash table. They bring things to put on the D-stash table. When you put it on the D-stash table, the whole point is that other people are going to come and they are going to be able to take items that they may need back home. So I have a huge bag of these Diamond Art Club pens. Again, the goal with these is that I don't unbox a lot of my diamond paintings. So unfortunately, because I don't unbox a lot of my diamond paintings, what I ended up doing is Melinda Hands offered to send me some, and I could see if these could make great bases. Because right now I use these as bases. I do appreciate these because I can kind of mess with the thickness myself. With these, I'm not able to really kind of change up the thickness. I don't know how, thick a pen that people like. That's what I'm doing right here, is kind of testing it out. This seems to be, a nice thick size for flat pen and things like that. As you can see, I have tested various sizes with my own pens. So this one on the left is it's a lot thinner than the one on the right and things. So I have, my drill, it gets a lot of work and things. This has been probably the more comfortable size for me. Right here, where one of the I call these valleys. One of the valleys will be a little bit smaller. Usually, I got these. I usually put on the smaller one the multi-placer, and on the one that's thicker, because you're going to use that a little bit more. So I usually put the single placer on that. Now everybody does have a different they have a different like pressure amount of pressure that they apply and things. So I definitely learned that within the first couple of years making my own pens, because they would crack right in the valley, and that's because of the different pressure points and stuff. So I did move over finally, because I did for the first couple of years. I still sealed my pens with I still seal my pens with polyurethane. But polyurethane over time, your just the oils and things on your hand could break them down. So even though it would start off beautiful, glossy, shiny, look like a regular pen and things like that, over time from using it, from rubbing up against, just holding it the correct way, it would break it down and stuff. So I did in, I believe it was 2022, towards the end, I did move over to sealing it with resin and stuff. Resin, obviously once you get it in the UV box, it hardens and makes the pen feel glass like. So I definitely enjoyed that. I stayed with UV resin, mainly because, of the chemical aroma and things like that. I know a lot of people, after they get their, crafting business up, if they are sealing with any kind of resin, they maybe move from UV resin over to regular, where they're mixing the two parts and things. I definitely have not done that. It's a lot, mixing and things like that, plus, the chemicals and things. And then the time factor and stuff like that too, trying to get it, So I still am sealing with UV resin. It does make them still sturdy and things like that, but they do turn them into glass. So I do still caution that everyone should watch, not watch, but be careful that these can roll onto the floor and things. With that said, because I was that cautious and that careful, I did start to make these. I do like these, and I think it was definitely a great idea. But these are what I call um, pen cradles, and the pen cradles are designed to just do that, to hold the pen and to cradle them, just kind of keep them from rolling and things like that. So if you can see this, the pen cradle not only cradles it, holds it in, but then you can I put magnets on the bottom, and the magnets now make them cover minders and things like that. So just bringing you into some of the madness behind how I craft, how I create, what goes on in my mind as I do crafting, as I create. um, so that's pretty much going to be it for me tonight. Just kind of updating you guys on why I made the move from Coffee Time, which is a double-sided adhesive, over to this poured glue from Amazon. Obviously, I shared with you where I got it at, showed you the price. That was another reason why I purchased it, because it was poured glue from Amazon at a very attractive price for $6.99. This is a 30 by 30. I am curious because the canvas is printed on the actual, I mean, the proof is printed on the actual canvas. And then they just have symbols going around it. So I am, going to be curious to see how this will complete. Will it look like the canvas, or will it be, distorted and things? That's the only thing, about these smaller canvases and things. We'll definitely see. But when you see the canvas, all the proof already printed on the canvas and things, um, doesn't necessarily say that what we are putting down on it will specifically render over, especially at this size. So we'll see. I'll keep going. This wasn't too bad getting back into pour glue. That first pluck, I will tell you, was beautiful because I had to move the diamonds and they moved beautifully. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream for this evening. Hopefully I will see you guys back here Saturday morning. That is at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. And hopefully you guys will be able to come back and just kind of enjoy. Let me get this going. Kind of enjoy some laughs with me and Lizzie. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with me this evening. Have a good rest of your Wednesday. Bye.